What is up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another wrap-up. 3 great stories for all of you guys here at Esports Talk. Hope you're all enjoying your day so far. I would say some pretty crazy stories at that I really do love combining. If you guys like this format, please let me know, because I love talking about as many stories as possible. First of which going to be a former Liquid member, that being IWD, or I Will Dominate. He left Liquid just last week and already is firing interesting information out there that I don't know if he would be doing if he was still tied to the Liquid organization. That being talking about potential guaranteed starter clauses in the contracts for League of Legends players, and particularly about imports. He actually talks about Froggen, names an actual name out there, who potentially are signing import contracts with League of Legends organizations, and in those said contracts have clauses where they have to start no matter what, which is an interesting concept.
There's some contracts that I've heard about that are like super fucked up in terms of like, you have players that are imports that have guaranteed starter clauses wrote into their contract, meaning that as long as they're a part of the team, they cannot not start. So in spring, this was something that Froggen actually had. There was no way Demonte could have played. Like, he had a guaranteed starter clause in his contract, and this is allegedly from people that are, formerly with the org, or like people that have been associated with Dignitas.
What the Okay.
But that's a thing. Like, guaranteed starter is a thing for certain players in NA.
So my super quick thoughts on this is probably great for a player, right? It could be for a variety of reasons. I have not seen these said contracts, but from my own perspective, a few times we have seen this where, yes, starter players are paid their full salary. Sometimes if you're benched or not on the starting roster, your salary can actually be reduced. So it seems to me, in my opinion, when I think about this, in particular when he talks about Froggen, it seems to be a smart thing as a player to try and negotiate. Of course, you want to try and play and get better and get your name out there. And secondly, you probably want to be paid your full salary and have your full chances at incentives in your said contract. You probably can't acquire all those incentives. Let's say, for instance, in a gigantic Dignitas contract for Huni, he can't get all those incentives if he's not on the starting roster, maybe. So maybe that's why an import would actually want to be starting at all times. The flip side of the coin, if I'm an organization and I have to start this person every single match, and if he's sucking, or if the team does not get along with said figure, yeah, that's where it might get a bit hairy, and that's where I would say a bit of the skepticalness of an organization doing this might start to come up. Now, obviously, organizations might have different perspectives on why they would want to do this as well. If you have a star player, you want them starting at all times, and you're building around them. I don't know. It draws a lot into question. Still a very interesting talking point brought forward by IWD. Speaking of interesting, we quite possibly could have one of the most current toxic Overwatch pros, which is unfortunate, now receiving finally some punishments from his organization. As of me recording, OWL has not responded on this, but it's actually San Francisco Shock player known as Violet, and the shock brought to us by their GM, that being Chris Chung, has now finally given him a punishment, that being undisclosed fine, as well as suspension for their upcoming series because of some harassment going on stream that has been recorded. It's not very nice.
아 씨발 걔 병신 같은 새끼. 아 짜증나네. Hey Messi, are you retard? Messi? Do you know English? Messi? 아, 걔 버러지 같은 씨발 메르시 원챔 새끼 똑같아 그냥. 아, 병신 용검에 썰렸어. 발캐 쓰고. 병신 새끼. 존나 못해.
To give you guys further context, just last month, it was this same member of the SF Shock, that being Violet, who was actually caught in ranked telling someone to kill themselves. So, obviously, you stack these offenses together, yes, this fine is certainly should be enforced, and the suspension should be enforced as well. I'd be surprised if OWL does not also respond about this, but if they don't, you know, at least the organization has now cracked down on what seems to be a growing figure of toxicity, and certainly after these 2 offenses being brought forth, I'm sure SF Shock will take care of the situation, and hopefully he can learn. I always say this, hopefully he can learn going forward to maybe not be so mean. Certainly times have changed, right? It's crazy to see, and this is no shots fired at a guy like XQC, but luckily enough, XQC is not competing for any organization in the Overwatch League. I just don't think that would fly anymore, but hey, just my opinion. And very lastly, for all of you guys, I'm agreeing with Ninja, and you know, that could be a rarity out there. His latest tweet, or one of his latest tweets, guys, that being about DJs and artists and rappers in the music scene right now, obviously with no actual live events, face-to-face events going on. That pertains to gaming and esports as well. Gosh dang it, I miss watching some actual LANs because online performances have been pretty crazy. Speaking of which, when it comes time for the Fortnite scene, we have seen tons of artists, Diplo, Marshmello, Travis Scott especially, and that is what kind of provoked, I imagine, Ninja's tweet about what these artists and DJs could be doing. Citing DJs, artists should be utilizing live stream platforms and getting creative with shows online, pay to watch, subscription-based, ad-based during breaks, instead of hosting, promoting live in-person concerts. No reason to be doing live shows during this pandemic. And I couldn't agree more. If you guys have not caught this, latest articles out there brought to us by Billboard and other sources. Travis Scott, for his one single Fortnite performance, who apparently brought in, 45+ million viewers, which is incredible, could have demanded a fee of upwards of $500,000 just for a virtual Fortnite performance. Now, all artists out there can't do the same exact thing, but why not take to a live stream platform, YouTube or Twitch or whatever it might be, and put on a show for viewers in some form or fashion is what Ninja is suggesting. And I actually do agree with this, mainly because I also, just like I miss gaming and esports events, I do miss music and artists as well. We've seen a lot of artists out there dropping albums, whatever it might be, but a live show could be pretty cool as well. What do you guys think about this? Possibly the most toxic Overwatch League Pro currently. We got Ninja with some good advice, and we got IWD dropping some guaranteed starter contracts for League of Legends. It's just madness out there in the esports scene. What do you guys think? Until next time, you know what to do. You might already be doing it. You might be leaning down, taking a sip right now. Drink that water, drink that coffee. I'll catch you guys back here sometime soon.